In the headlines, Sudanese drivers abandon Nigerian returnees in desert over incomplete payment. ISWAP abducts 3 humanitarian workers, security guards in Borno State. Federal government brings 9 new grounds against Nnamdi Kanu's release as Supreme Court adjourns till May. And on the international scene, Sudan fighting continues despite initial extension of ceasefire. Hello and welcome to Trust News Update. I'm Dashan Husseina Usman. And now the news in detail. Efforts to evacuate the Nigerians stranded in Sudan has met another setback as the first batch of 5 buses that left Khartoum on Wednesday abandoned its passengers midway over issues of payment logistics. Videos shared online showed some Nigerians, mostly students, explaining their fresh ordeal. One of the students, a 400-level student with the International University of Africa, Khartoum, lamented that the 38-hour scheduled journey between Khartoum in Sudan and neighboring Egyptian city of Aswan had encountered a challenge even before arriving at a first place to call. Reports say the bus drivers were ordered by their company to stop the journey until the balance of their service had been paid. They insisted that they were only paid 30% of the agreed charges, with the promise of paying the remaining balance once they got out of the state capital, Khartoum. The student, who was heard speaking in a very disturbing tone, added that the location where they had been abandoned is a desert with no food or water.
These days are for 5 hours, but we don't know the situation we have. We don't have water. Our money has finished. Can you be imagine? And they said the vehicle drivers, they said they are not moving their bus. They said they are not moving their buses because they don't give them money. Which type of attitude is this one? Look at this place. We're stuck in desert. We don't even have compass. We don't know where we are. I don't know the place we are. Everything has finished. We are done. We don't have anything. We don't have anything. We don't have food. We don't have anything. We don't have compass. We even know our location. We're in an unknown environment with a very big danger.
We are not even worried about ourselves. We are more worried about our family, friends, the little children and pregnant women out there who are stranded in the desert without food and water. No network to even connect with them. We need help. Please, the government and other powerful bodies should come to our aid. We paid money to the embassy in order to get us a smooth transportation, but we didn't see anything. Our money gone. And no vehicles. We are in a dire situation. We don't sleep, we don't eat, and we're all stranded here. We need help.
Meanwhile, the Director General of the Nigerians in Diaspora Commission, Abike Dabiri Erewa, says buses evacuating Nigerians from Sudan have continued their journey. In a tweet, Dabiri said this follows the resolution of issues around payment and logistics as confirmed by the Director General of the National Emergency Management Agency. 3 humanitarian staff working with an international non-governmental organization, Family Health International, have been abducted by fighters of the Islamic State of West Africa province. They were kidnapped alongside 2 security guards in Ngala local government area of Borno State. This came nearly a year after some humanitarian workers were abducted in Fotoko village near Gamborungala town. Reports say the attackers sneaked into a guest house where the aid workers lived around 5 a.m. and kidnapped them. Chairman of Lake Chad Region Civil Society Organizations, Ahmed Shehu, confirmed the incident. A soldier and 24 other residents of Usa and Takum local government areas of Taraba State are said to have been killed so far in the feud between Kutep farmers and herders in the state. This is according to the police public relations officer in Taraba State, Abdullahi Usman. He said the military officer was ambushed and killed, while the other 24 persons are of either Kuteb or Fulani extractions. He insisted that at the moment, the major problem halting the return of peace is the calm by the Fulani herdsmen that their cattle are held hostage by the Kuteb farmers and the denial from the other end. Attempts to speak to state's chairman of MACBAN proved abortive. However, the president of the Kuteb Yetsgo Association of Nigeria, Emmanuel Okwen, an umbrella body of the Kuteb-speaking tribe in the country, revealed that peace was brokered between them late last year, in which a 14-point resolution was reached and signed. Okwen alleged that the state government failed to provide the needed funds to implement the agreements reached, which gave rise to enemies of progress to renew the attacks. Still on insecurity, the Commissioner of Police in Enugu State, Ahmed Amani, has ordered the homicide section of the state CID and tactical squads of the command to unravel the circumstances of the murder of Dons Ude, a chieftain of the All Progressives Grand Alliance. The commissioner directed that the perpetrators of the heinous crime be fished out and brought to book within the shortest possible time. This is contained in a statement issued by the state's police public relations officer, DSP of Police, Daniel Ndukwe, on Thursday in Enugu. According to him, the lifeless and decomposing body of the deceased, identified as a 2023 Enugu State governorship election aspirant under the APGA, was found in a bush at 9th Mile Bypass in Udi local government area on April 25th. Ndukwe said that preliminary investigation indicated that the deceased was reported to have been missing since April 22 when he left his Enugu City home in a white-colored Toyota Highlander Jeep with registration number ENU 800NX to an undisclosed destination. No less than 83 suspected criminals have been arrested by operatives of the Kano State Police Command for allegedly committing various offenses. The command spokesman, SP Abdullahi Haruna Kiyawa, disclosed this in a press statement issued via his verified Facebook page. He further stated that the suspects were arrested this month between April 21 and 25 during and after the Eid al-Fitr celebration in all the 5 emirate councils of the state. According to him, the suspected criminals were apprehended with dangerous weapons, illicit drugs, and stolen properties, adding that they are currently under investigation. The Supreme Court has granted leave to the federal government to bring 9 new grounds of appeal against the release of pro-Biafra agitator Nnamdi Kanu. A 5-member panel led by Justice John Okoro granted the leave on Thursday while ruling on the motion by the counsel to the federal government, Tijani Ghazali. The Apex Court also granted leave to the federal government to include the 9 new grounds as part of its amended notice of appeal dated 28 October 2022. At the resumed hearing, the counsel to Nnamdi Kanu, Mike Ozekeme, informed the court of his motion seeking for bail of his client and another seeking for his transfer to the Kuje Correctional Facility to get proper medical attention, citing his failing health at the custody of the Department of State Services. He also prayed for an accelerated hearing of the matter. The court subsequently fixed May 11 for a hearing on the pending motion and the main appeal. A Kano State High Court, presided over by Justice Mariam Sabo, MNI, has granted permission to slam the order of mandamus on Kano Attorney General Musa Abdullahi Lawal to formally charge House of Representatives Majority Leader Alhassan Ado Doguwa in an alleged case of murder. The court accepted the prayers of one of the state's retired chief magistrate, Mantari Garba Endago, to apply for the order of mandamus. The court gave the order upon an ex parte application by counsel to the applicant, Barrister Y.I. Sharif. The court adjourned the case to 12 May 2023 for the hearing of the motion on notice. When contacted, Abdullahi said the Kano State Ministry of Justice is still waiting for the Nigerian police force to complete their investigation and bring back the case file. The Attorney General of the Federation, Abubakar Malami, on Thursday appeared before the House of Representatives Ad Hoc Committee investigating the alleged loss of over $2.4 billion in unremitted oil revenue for the illegal sale of 48 million barrels of crude oil export from 2014 till date. Chairman of the committee, Mark Bila, said the committee obtained reports that Malami received funds from outside the country through the whistleblower policy, but did not remit it to the Federation account. The lawmaker also said the Minister of Finance, Budget and National Planning, Zainab Ahmed, approved payments to whistleblowers which were not in accordance with the policy. But appearing before the lawmakers, the Minister of Justice said disclosing the details of the whistleblowers as requested by the committee violates confidentiality. With regards to details of accounts into which recoveries were paid, Malami stated that the Central Bank of Nigeria maintained these accounts, not the Office of the Attorney General of the Federation. Malami argued that his office is not a signatory, nor does it manage the accounts. According to him, over $650 million have so far been recovered from different sources, including late Head of State General Sani Abacha, former Bayelsa State Governor Dieprie Alamesia, and former Delta State Governor James Ibori. You're watching Trust News Update. Coming up after the break. Youths demand opportunities in digital economy. Do stay with us.
Part of efforts to support Africa's goal of strengthening.
Now looking at the activity chart, as you can see right here, a total volume of 130.
A Boko Haram crisis that at that time was restricted to Yobe.
How secure are they? You can see security men with blood.
This is the road leading up to the...
Already, if you look at England squad, you are looking at EPL, you are looking at their names. You are not looking at...
Welcome back and thanks for staying with us. You're still watching Trust News Update. Here's a recap of some of our top stories. We told you that Sudanese drivers abandon Nigerians returnees in desert over incomplete payment. We also heard that ISWAP abduct 3 humanitarian workers, security guards in Borno State. Moving to more stories. For many years, successive Nigerian governments have failed to allot budget to educational sector based on the globally recommended benchmark for developing nations. In the 2023 budget, the sector got 1.79 trillion naira, representing 8.2% of the appropriation bill, while experts recommended at least 15% allocation to the educational sector in developing countries. With less than 35 days to the inauguration of the president-elect Bola Ahmed Tinubu, Ibrahim Ismail speaks to educationists and students on what the incoming administration should do to the nation's educational sector to move it forward.
According to the United Nations Children Fund, UNICEF, Nigeria has over 10 million out-of-school children, adding that 1 in every 5 of the world's out-of-school children is in Nigeria, and the rot in the country's tertiary education is one of the biggest problems that awaits the administration of the president-elect Bola Tinubu, an area many feel the Buhari administration didn't fare well.
It has never failed, but it has never excelled as far as education is concerned, because Buhari once made a promise that he is going to enhance the budgetary allocation of education. But after that pronouncement in the UN Assembly, but what followed is nothing to write home about, because the promise was not fulfilled.
Many Nigerians are concerned about the incessant strikes by university lecturers, with the most recent spanning over a 7-month period. Hence, Gombe residents want the incoming Tinubu administration to address this and other issues bedeviling the educational sector.
We want Tinubu to focus on the issue of strike that our university facing in Nigeria, to know their problems, to know how the problem will solve.
Abubuwa sun yi tsada da dama ai da bangare karatu. Yanzu wani biyan waye ko ne ko shi sai ana sai.
School fees are getting expensive. Some have dropped out because they can't afford to pay for waye ko ne ko.
Sai ga garin nan neman kuɗin nan in ya dan samu dan abun da yake.
One who works to get the money and pay would not return to the school if he get a job. If the students can be supported, they cannot drop out of school.
But actually the main problem is from the grassroots. So if he can tackle the problem from the grassroots, I'm sure the tertiary, the secondary and the tertiary institution will just pick shape.
In the meantime, educationist Tabil Bilkaila asked the incoming president to declare a state of emergency to ensure a total overhaul of the educational sector from primary to tertiary level.
So if the federal government has a complete and correct estimate of the amount of money that is being paid to primary school teachers and secondary school teachers, so it can withhold such amount from the state allocation and continue to pay the primary and secondary school teachers there.
While campaigning ahead of the 2023 elections, President-elect Bola Tinubu had promised to bring reforms to Nigeria's educational sector from the basic to the tertiary level. Whether or not this promise goes beyond political rhetorics remains to be seen. Ibrahim Ismail, Trust TV News, Gombe.
First Lady Aisha Buhari has called for adequate investment in the treatment and prevention of cardiovascular diseases in the country. She made the call on Wednesday when she received beneficiaries of her free heart surgery at the presidential villa in Abuja. The beneficiaries were at the villa on a thank you visit to the First Lady for her assistance. The First Lady also expressed her desire to continue collaboration with other development partners in the health sector towards providing the necessary care to children of underprivileged families in Nigeria. The Chief Medical Director, Federal Medical Center Jabi Saad Ahmed, expressed gratitude to the First Lady for the partnership with the Italian surgeons where expertise was shared during the operation.
To Nigerians in need of such care. Through my organization, the Aisha Buhari Foundation and Future Assured, we are able to partner with an international heart surgery team led by Professor Opido, an Italian, as well as the Federal Medical Center Jabi, the Cedar Crest and Cardio hospitals to provide this help, which we believe will bring succor to some of those in need of such services. We thank God. Today we are able to celebrate together the success we are able to achieve, as I've been informed that all the patients who were treated and discharged have fully recovered.
So like Claire said, this is future assured in play. We have seen it physically playing out here. These children, some of them tomorrow will be doctors, will be nurses, some will be president of this country, and just name it. So these are the great resources that we have in this country. You have actually put in a lot in giving them a very bright future.
Now moving on, as the unemployment rate in Nigeria continues to rise, youths in the country are demanding opportunities in digital economy. The youths are calling on governments at all levels to take time or actions to tackle unemployment to encourage young persons to stay and thrive in the country. Hamid Oyegbade has the report.
According to the National Bureau of Statistics, the national unemployment rate in Nigeria increased from 23.1% in 2018 to 33.3% in 2020. NBS estimates that this rate has increased to 37.7% in 2022 and will rise further to 40.6% in 2023. Youths in the country are calling on governments to provide them with opportunities to tap into the digital economy.
Things are now done digitally. We youth can gainfully employ and engage in the use of the internet to scale and upscale our career. Some people have been utilized, some of us have been utilizing it to develop our careers.
Okay, I want the government to put more effort by creating enough job opportunity for Nigerian youth, because we have a lot of youth out there that are jobless. And they are idle, and you know, they said the devil used the idle person.
How the government can help is by providing platforms for youth to attain these digital skills, to learn these skills, and not just learn, also provide them an opportunity to practice what they have learned.
Meanwhile, the United Nations Children Fund, in collaboration with National Orientation Agency, is supporting youths with training on digital platforms to earn legitimate income.
We see a lot of resilience from young people. They are very creative, they are very innovative. But I think one of the things that we need to really ensure that these young people are ready is empower them, provide them with the tools, give them the necessary support, both financial and capacity development, to ensure that whatever they are doing, they are productive.
They should be focused and know that the opportunity is here. And there's so many technical opportunities too, especially on social media. Social media is not necessarily for negative things like Yahoo and stuff like that.
UNICEF called on media to raise awareness on opportunities available for youth on digital platforms and amplify their voices to attract government attention so that policymakers will take necessary actions in addressing unemployment in the country. Hamid Oyegbade, Trust TV News.
Now on the foreign scene, Sudan's army and a paramilitary force battled in Khartoum's outskirts on Wednesday, undermining a truce in their 11-day conflict, but the army expressed willingness to extend the ceasefire. The army late on Wednesday said its leader, General Abdel Fattah al-Burhan, gave initial approval to a plan to extend the truce for another 72 hours and send an army envoy to the South Sudan capital, Juba, for talks. The Sudanese Armed Forces and the paramilitary Rapid Support Forces previously agreed to a 3-day ceasefire that was due to expire late on Thursday. There was no immediate response from the RSF to the proposal from the Intergovernmental Authority on Development, Original Bloc. The military said the presidents of South Sudan, Kenya, Djibouti worked on a proposal that includes extending the truce and talks between the two forces. U.S. Secretary of State Anthony Blinken and African Union Commission Chairperson Musa Faki Mahamat discussed working together to create a sustainable end to the fighting, the State Department said in a statement on Wednesday. Now, finally, in sports, Golden Eaglets head coach Nduka Ugbade has revealed his team's ambition ahead of the start of the 2023 Africa Under-17 Cup of Nations in Algeria. The competition will start on Saturday with the Golden Eaglets among the 12 countries that will battle for the ultimate prize and World Cup tickets. The two-time champions arrived Algeria on Sunday after a trip to Germany was aborted due to logistical challenges. The top 4 teams in Algeria will earn a berth at the 2023 FIFA Under-17 World Cup. Ugbade stated that the team's ultimate aim is to qualify for the World Cup. The Eaglets will face Zambia in their first game at the Mohamed Hamloui Stadium, Constantine, on Sunday. And with this, we've come to the end of Trust News Updates. Don't forget to follow us across all our social media platforms. I'm Darshan Hussaina Usman. Thanks for watching.